I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Finally, after 2 weeks of, I ran out of suits, basically, and I started up again with my suit rotation, and one of the partners came in and he told me, we've had a conversation, and you don't need to be wearing a full suit every day. It's not something you have to do for our department. So I said, well, I appreciate you telling me that. I went home and thought, oh my God, I don't have any other clothes. I have legal aid clothes and suits. That was all I owned, right? So, so business casual to me is, you can wear a dress that's appropriate for business casual. You can wear, to me, business casual is the button down with the sweater and nice pants. Looking like you probably, a little bit more formal than you would be going out to dinner perhaps, or going to the movies or something, but still looking put together. And that's why I think business casual is the hardest. That was the hardest dress. I mean, I do much better with the uniform of a suit than trying to put pieces together. The bonus of business casual, though, is from a cost perspective, you don't, I say you have to have a lot of money, it helps to be able to buy these different separates, but you also can mix and match a lot more and buy accessories to make, you wear the same sweater twice in a week, buy pants or sweater or accessories to make it look different. And so I think for people coming out of law school, business casual, if you're told it's business casual, that gives you the opportunity then to play with things and wear things more than once.
Well, I want to get back to the fact that I don't think business formal requires a suit. I think it requires what you just said, looking put together, that you gave some thought to it, and that's conservative looking, but it does not necessarily have to be a suit, in my view. So I don't see a lot of difference between business formal and business casual. I think that the things that some of the guys do on casual day, for example, some of these firms, are things that women just can't get away with. So, I mean, you never wear flip-flops anywhere having to do with lawyering and so on. Never. Part of it's just an age thing. I mean, you get to be a certain age, you can't wear flip-flops anymore. And so you resent people who can. And I am somebody who I think it's clear overdresses for every occasion. But I think that business casual is very similar to business formal in terms of being put together and so on. You just have more latitude, and it can be somewhat more informal, but you basically you want to maintain the same standards. You want stuff that fits you pretty well. We'll get into the tailoring thing, but you find out which dry cleaners are good at tailoring, and they'll do things relatively inexpensively. And once you've gone there a couple of times, they kind of know who you are, and they take in a little here and a little there, and they kind of know or let out depending on what month it is. But you can do that. But I do think that that you shouldn't overreact to the word casual in any description. I don't think women can be very casual. On the other hand, I do think you can wear nice colors and nicely tailored things, and that they don't have to be suits.
Yeah, I think business casual it's a little bit hard. I will say when I first started at Pillsbury, that was the year that they actually officially went business casual. So up until that point, they'd been wearing suits every day. And so when I got hired, I went out and I bought 5 suits. And I spent all the money I had and bought 5 suits. And then suddenly they announced it was business casual, and I thought, I have nothing to wear, which was awful. But I do think it's the same thing of, I think of business casual as it can be, for me, being in a suit isn't always the most comfortable. But business casual is then that I can dress nicely, but also be comfortable in what I'm wearing. But I do think it's a matter of what you look good in, what you like wearing, and definitely you wouldn't do flip-flops unless I think Quinny Manual allows their attorneys to show up in flip-flops.
I've never gotten a dime out of that firm.
I mean, because all your places of employment will also have dress codes, and a lot of the firms have been coming out with them more and more because they have noticed that not everyone has the same opinion. But I do think of business casual as you can wear dresses, you can wear skirts, you don't have to have the suit with the matching pants and the jacket with the matching pants. That it's just a matter of looking nicely and presenting yourself in a way that looks still as though you're, like I wouldn't wear my ripped jeans, with that are baggy and my sneakers if I were doing business casual.
And then just to touch on it, casual attire. I mean, is there ever a good opportunity to wear jeans? I mean, do you ever casual Fridays, or is there
fine, absolutely fine. Everyone's going to be wearing jeans. Beyond that, in my experience, in a large law firm, I would never wear jeans. Some people, it depends on where you are, right? Like in San Francisco, I would expect on Fridays in the large firms, they probably are wearing, if you can have a really nice pair of jeans, for example, they'll say that's okay. But I generally never wear jeans in any sort of work capacity. Now I'm a professor, I wouldn't wear jeans in any kind of work capacity. Same deal with the firm, same deal with federal court. The only place I've ever worn jeans is in a nonprofit.
Well, I wanted to show, behind us, now these are skinny people. I just want to say that most women do not look very good in jeans. So, vanity has to come in. Either you're too skinny or you're a little too heavy for jeans, most people. And so I think that's why you shouldn't wear blue jeans no matter what, is my feeling, unless you're one of those rare women who really looks good and you've got a very expensive pair of, what do they call? They used to be called sevens. There were seven. My daughter said, seven. I have one pair of blue jeans that I've owned in my entire adult life, which are a pair of sevens. My daughter's very impressed. I have no idea where I got them or why. So I think if it's a casual thing where you really, or like a picnic or something like that, Golden Gate picnic or something, sure you can wear blue jeans there. But again, vanity has to come in, I really do believe that most women look lousy in blue jeans, and I think that, you could look a lot better in a pair of well-tailored pants, so that if you know they're going to be casual things, that have a casual thing, but that's well cut and that looks good on you. I think there are very few occasions when you're mixing with attorneys and clients outside of, I was the Mexican American Legal Defense Fund, and we rarely had a lot of clients coming through the office, although we sometimes did. But I remember clearly my boss, who is now the ambassador to Argentina, Vilma Martinez, who was a very formal person. She wore dresses, real dresses, to court and everywhere else. She didn't wear suits, but she wore very formal, sort of double-breasted coat dresses all the time. And I thought she was much too conservative. So, and I was in my peasant stage. It was 1972 or 3, and I would wear to work these sort of peasant skirts. And finally, she just said, "Drew, you cannot wear that." And I thought she was so square. And I look back now, and I think, damn, she was right. So, it's when in doubt, go formal. The default has to be more formal rather than less, I think. On almost all occasions, even if it's a picnic, you want to wear something that has a little pizzazz to it, and it isn't just what you flop around in the house in. If it's something that you really could wear to bed and feel comfortable, you're probably not dressed right.
Yeah, I would say in terms of, because a lot of the firms do have casual Friday, and you will see a lot of the men are wearing jeans.
They shouldn't either, actually.
I think that in terms of when I was in practice, I did have a pair of jean trousers, so they were actually tailored out of jeans material, and I think those may have been the only pair that I wore on a Friday, because they were trousers, and they looked like slacks, but they were just with jeans material. I think in terms of casual attire like this, I think of that as when I would work on the weekends.
Can I ask a point of personal preference? I see Marcy Seville over there, who has practiced law longer than anybody at this table, and in a public interest environment. And I wondered what your hit was on this.
I'm at the Women's Employment Rights Clinic, which is right behind us, and we actually talked to the students about this at the beginning of the semester. And we do allow jeans in the clinic, and on my non-teaching days, I wear jeans. We're a nonprofit. So, and hopefully we look acceptable in them.
I'm sure.
I usually wear jeans with a structured jacket on top of it, and I call it the anchor woman look. So nobody sees me behind a desk. They step by, actually.
But that's a really good point. You do see women with sort of tailored blazers and jackets and things like that over blue jeans, and that completely changes it. Basically.
But one of the things that I talk to the students about is that anytime we have a client coming in, the student has to be in a minimum at business casual. Many of our clients are very poor, and it's their first interaction with a lawyer, and so reflecting what Professor Benedetto said, Sometimes our clients are more comfortable if their student lawyer is in slacks and a shirt than in a formal suit. Sometimes it creates more of a barrier. But I do tell the students, irrespective of whether you have a client coming in, you have to think about the impression the office is giving. If other people have clients coming in, and it's a hot day, and you are in incredibly short shorts and a low-cut tank top and flip-flops, that it makes us look unprofessional. So while we have a relatively casual environment, out of respect for our clients, it's important not to tip over the edge.
So moving on to fit and tailoring, another kind of area where a lot of people fall into trouble. You know, short skirts and necklines, and I mean, what's a good rule of thumb as far as what, you know, kind of the do's and don'ts of proper fit and tailoring?
Okay, well, I like what you said. If you have to ask if the neckline is too low, then you shouldn't wear it, right? That's a good way to go. I would just say, fit and tailoring, a lot of it's personal choice on how you want things to be. I have a sister-in-law who works on Madison Avenue, and I told her I was doing this, and I asked her, one of our questions was, how short can your skirt be? And she told me in the fashion world, the rule is it can only be as long as only be as short as your fingers are long, so as you're putting your hands down. So, some people I know in the law could even tend to go shorter than that. But I think the question really for me is, how do you want these people to remember you, right? And so, like, for example, I had a student years ago, before you all were in school, who was applying for a very prestigious clerkship and came to talk to me, as some students come and talk to me about how, you know, how do I dress for a clerkship interview? My answer is always a black suit, but anyway. But she had a piercing, a really interesting, creative piercing she had designed herself at the top of her ear. And her question was, can I wear this piercing to the interview? And I said, do you want to be remembered as the woman with the piercing? Or do you want to be on, is your resume going to go in the piercing file, or is it going to go in the, wow, she's really smart, that's how we remember her file? So it's, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as the person with the cleavage and the short skirt? Maybe if you're going out, you know, to a bar or to a restaurant or something, that is how you want people to see you. That's never, I don't think, how you want people to see you in a professional environment. I mean, to me, I want people to think of me as smart and capable first, and then maybe think about other aspects of my personality. And for teaching, for example, I would never want what I'm wearing to distract from the message, the lesson I'm trying to give my students. So my goal in teaching is to have people not even think about what I'm wearing, but think more about the fact that we need to talk about this, and I'm going to be tested on this, and this is what I have to remember. So that's probably why I also started teaching at a relatively younger age. I had students who were older than me. So again, why I would default to formal to make sure that things are fit in a conservative way is because I don't want people to remember me for anything other than my intelligence and capable of teaching, etc. So you probably have good suggestions about the tailoring more than I do.
Yeah, well, again, I agree with everything that you said, except I want to go back into the fact that it doesn't mean that you have to wear black, it doesn't mean that you have to wear pants, it doesn't mean all those things. Well, first of all, on the cleavage thing, I mean, many judges have complained to me, not about our students, but about how women look coming into court these days, as they would put it, with really low-cut stuff and really inappropriate stuff. Nobody wants to be remembered as the woman who may have had augmentation surgery and wears tight clothes. You know, I mean, basically, it's true you want people to remember you for your abilities and so, but you also want them to remember you as a class act. It is not a class act to have cleavage showing when you're doing anything professional. It is not a class act to essentially look sexual in a way that looks undignified. So in terms of tailoring, I think a lot of women wear stuff that's too tight on them. Now, part of it is just the human condition. You used to be a size 6 or 8, but you're really not anymore, and it's tight.